Welcome to Scary Savannah and Beyond. So the other location we like to talk about is Tondee's Tavern, and it's currently located at 7 Bay Street in a building that dates back to 1853. But the original location was on the corner of Broughton and Whitaker Streets. The original Tondee's Tavern played a role in the American Revolution.
See, I didn't know this. This is education.
Well, when you see the picture of the guy, you'd be like, well, that's revolutionary.
Well, it makes
in
perfect
more
sense.
than one way. So let's talk a little bit about the namesake of Tondee's, and that would be Peter Tondee. Peter was born in 1723 in England. At the age of 10, he traveled over on the second ship that arrived in Savannah called the James, and I'm assuming it was named after James Oglethorpe,
That's what I'm
founder of Savannah, Georgia. Peter, along with his brother and father, made the voyage in May of 1733. This was just a year after Oglethorpe came over on the ship named Anne, which we talked about in an earlier episode.
Yeah, we went all into that.
Anne. Peter's father died in July, just a couple months after their arrival in Savannah. This left Peter and his brother orphaned. I'm not sure what happened to his mother. It didn't say why she didn't come over with them, so it's most likely she had died previously since they were orphans. The boys were taken in by a man named Paul Amatus, who was managing the fledgling silk trade. Later, they lived with a local magistrate, Henry Parker. Eventually, they moved in with a minister named George Whitefield. He was looking to fill his newly formed orphanage called Bethesda.
Come here, all you little orphans.
Peter helped with construction at Bethesda and then became an apprentice to James Pappet, who was a local carpenter when he was around 16 years old. While under the apprenticeship of Pappet, he worked on building the Christ Church.
Which I believe is still there.
I think that is one of the ones that's still standing.
Yeah,
We've got some old churches
I don't think
here.
It burned like everything else.
Or if it did, it just burnt.
It's been rebuilt.
A little bit, just a little bit. Peter was very talented and became a master carpenter. He, along with a partner, built the second silk filature, a facility for spinning silk off of cocoons.
Yeah, I had to look up what a filature was.
You mean you didn't know offhand?
I figured it was some sort of
You
factory.
mean you don't have a personal source for filatures?
I don't.
Well, we should look into that as soon as we find an arborist and a butcher.
We know an arborist. Do we know a butcher?
We don't, but we probably could
do
get one.
In a roundabout
We've
way.
probably known one, or loose definition of the word butcher, maybe. So they built it in 1759 after the first facility burned down in 1758, because what in Savannah hasn't burned down at least 6 times?
Hopefully Christ Church.
Well, if it was 6, apparently it's still standing today. The building also served as City Hall, a meeting place for the Masons, a hospital, a school, and a room on the second floor once served as a space for a ball for none other than GW, and we're talking about George Washington, President of the United States.
Wow.
In May of 1791.
Sounds like a happening place.
It was probably full of partying and revelry and maybe like early on ghosts.
And then you got your school kids down the hall.
You got your school kids down the hall. It doesn't matter. They party around children. Remember the story at the other place where they're rolling billiard balls down the stairs because everybody's partying downstairs
kids
while
just
the
have to
kids
stay
are
upstairs.
You stay in the bedroom, you place your billiard balls. That's what you do. We're going to have a little party downstairs. Sadly, this building burned in 1839. The whole town showed up to watch it burn because that's what you do when a building's on fire.
You're not hanging somebody, you're watching something burn, I guess, back then.
It's how you rolled back in them olden days. He and his partner also built a 2-story courthouse on Wright Square.
I'm not sure if that's still there.
I bet there's
We were in Wright Square last night.
I bet there's a building there, though.
Yeah, there's a building, but I don't know if it's that same courthouse.
Well, the space is still there in a spiritual way. Along with being a fabulous carpenter, Peter was also a culler and inspector of lumber at the Port of Savannah. And I think that a kohler is someone who inspects and weeds out the inferior products.
Yeah, because what I found, it's usually associated with being an animal kohler.
Oh.
So you
get rid of the bad
best
ones and you get the good ones, and that's the ones you butcher.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm assuming.
So I'm assuming he did that with lumber.
Yeah.
Not animals.
He threatened the bad ones and took the good ones.
Took the good lumber to build things that would burn really well. He picked the most flammable lumber.
He won a seat on the Workhouse Commission and served as messenger to the Commons House as well as leader of the Second Masonic Lodge in Georgia. So he was, in effect, a leader among his fellow laborers in Savannah and a patriot. He, along with other like-minded Savannians, would gather at his tavern known as Tondee's Long Room, which I said was located on Broughton and Whitaker, to discuss the growing unrest in the colonies. On August 10th, 1774, despite a ban from the governor on gathering to discuss anything against the British, a group of delegates from every parish in Georgia gathered at Tondee's to discuss the state of affairs. The Boston Tea Party had occurred just months before in December of 1773, and they saw how Britain was reacting to Massachusetts. Parliament's response to the Tea Party was to shut down Boston Harbor and to dissolve the elected Massachusetts government. All the colonies were outraged. With the battles at Lexington and Concord, they knew that Britain would easily try the same thing in other colonies, so this meeting really galvanized them in their resolve against the British rule.
And I haven't seen this plaque downtown, have you?
This plaque I have not seen. We should have looked for it, but we didn't know about it apparently.
I didn't know about it until
now
today.
Now we got to go back out and eat at Tondee's and ask to be in.
Well, this is probably not going to be at Tondee's. It's going to be at the corner of Broughton and Whitaker because that's where the tavern was at the time.
Okay, we'll go there and then we'll go ask to be introduced into Tondee's long room.
Yes, I would like to see that long room.
That burned down forever ago. On January 18th, 1775, a provincial congress gathered at Tondee's long room for a feast to celebrate the king's birthday, who you may recall from a previous episode was King George III.
Did you remember that?
No. They erected a liberty pole and raised toasts to freedom, firing a cannon after each toast, which is something that should probably just be happening to this day. Afterwards, the group of around 40 Sons of Liberty went parading down the streets with guns and bayonets. Sounds like a typical Friday night in the South.
It does. I just imagine this. Like, it seems like the celebrating the king's birthday is probably like a mockery thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they're just really making fun. We're not celebrating his birthday. Yeah. He's probably got no clothes on.
What?
Like the emperor's new clothes. Yeah, we're all supporting you, baby. We're all on your side. It's rumored that the first public reading of the Declaration of Independence occurred right outside Tondee's long room.
Why don't you read what's in the bold text?
I'm not going to read the stuff you write on scripts.
I don't mess with my scripts.
Well, I'll tell our viewers what it says. On July 4th, 1775, a second provincial congress gathered at Tondee's long room, and over the next couple weeks, they created what would be the first government for the state of Georgia.
That's pretty cool. It happened right here.
Right here. Right on downtown.
I think we walked by there. We were on Broughton last night.
We was probably being pursued by shadow folks at that very moment.
They force you to walk all around Broughton because they've got construction everywhere and you have to zigzag to get anywhere.
I know. It's practically impassable at places.
I don't know if it's because of those bones they found recently that's slowing them down even more or if it's just...
I'm sure that has nothing to do with it.
They're just taking forever.
Topics of discussion were trade restrictions with the British, seizing of British arms, and persecuting Tories.
Sounds like a fun time.
Oh, it's a ball of liveliness and revelry. Sadly, Peter Tondee died in October of 1775, never seeing the victory of the American Revolution, but his wife Lucy continued in his stead, using Tondee's Long Room as a gathering place for the Sons of Liberty until the British occupation of Savannah in 1778. After the war ended in 1782, meetings of the Georgia government resumed at Tondee's.
That's really cool.
That is very interesting.
I never knew that. And we did an episode about the American Revolution, but I didn't find this out until today.
There's so much history, and we're just not aware of it. And here we go. In 1796, the first of Savannah's many devastating fires burned the Tondee lot and building to the ground. The current location of Tondee's is on Bay Street in a building that was once used by the Central Railway and Banking Company. The top floor of the building was the office of Joseph Bryan, who was the largest slave broker in Savannah in the 1850s. Some claim that slaves were held in the basement of the building until they were auctioned off. This building is next to the slave pens in Bay Lane. I think we have some pictures.
Yeah, I read about what a lot of these enslaved people went through, and it's just unimaginable to think of. I found a really good article, and we're going to link it in the show notes if you want to learn more about Joseph Bryan and slavery in Savannah. There's actual newspaper articles, clippings for the auctions and things, and people went there and described how it went down, what actually happens during a slave auction.
Yeah.
It's just
horrific.
It is.
How could another person treat another person that way?
I know, we just can't understand it being so far removed from it at this point, but yeah, it's worth reading, so we're going to link that in the show notes.
Yeah, it's important to remember your history.
So these horrors that occurred could well be a source of the hauntings you find downtown, including at Tondee's.
Yeah, it's not just that we have a bunch of dead people buried around here. It's the way that a lot of them died that would lead, if there is such a thing as hauntings,
and not
there's
just
animosity.
That they died, but their life was so hard, and it left an imprint, possibly
beyond just dying.
Yeah,
because of it.
Yeah.
During the Civil War, when Sherman occupied Savannah, this building served as a headquarters for General John Greary of the Union Army. He was the commander of the city after the surrender.
See, I didn't know that either. That building that we were at last night was where their army headquarters was.
That's just madness.
Isn't that crazy?
So much history.
I know.
We history so hard.
This building is just steeped in history, and you can really feel it as soon as you walk in. I just love this building. The front door, the big, huge doors with the wood everywhere. It's so cool.
The big ceilings.
Yeah. And it's you can walk in and you really do feel a presence in there.
You can feel the
just
history.
Feels
not even just talking
there.
about feeling
not
a
scary
spirit,
ghosts or anything, just
history.
Yeah, it feels
palpable.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I was wanting to use that word today, and you gave me the opportunity to do it. I want to thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Professional ghost hunters frequent Tondee's Tavern with their equipment, trying to make a connection to the spirit world. Tondee's employees report malfunctions of the thermostat, with temperatures suddenly dropping for no reason. This sounds familiar.
Yeah.
This happens a lot
it seems
in Savannah.
Too. That's 2 in a row.
I wonder if ghosts just like to mess with people by hitting that thermostat. Be you feeling nice and toasty? Let's see how 55 suits you.
Yeah, and then they go grab a cell phone while you're trying to figure out the thermostat.
Let me get your pocket phone.
Yeah, I got to call somebody. And then
I'm going to start
maybe it's because they lived before air conditioning and they're just fascinated how you can turn the air down really fast.
They also apparently lived before true crime documentaries, and they're very fascinated with those too, since they just wanted to keep turning it on.
Oh, they like to watch Forensic Files.
How is that magic box showing me these things?
Yeah, I bet that would be weird.
They often hear disembodied voices and that overall feeling of being watched. One resident ghost is named Catherine. Nightly Spirits is a local tour company, and they conducted an investigation at Tondee's. The following is their account of what they experienced with Catherine. We were sitting there near the end of the night with our EMF equipment still on. We began to see some temperature fluctuations without any noticeable change in the temperature of the room. While we were noticing the temperature changes, we began to pick up some voices through the white noises we had been listening. At first, we had a very difficult time hearing if it was just noises or if there was a familiar pattern. We eventually were able to get more clear sounds when we began to ask questions to the voice and could now make out more clearly the responses. We were able to determine that the ghost communicating with us was either named Catherine or looking for Catherine. We asked several probing questions to try and determine the origin of the voice as well as when she was from and what she was seeking. Catherine was a slave that came to Georgia, and with Tondee's near the slave trade, we think she passed through Tondee's Tavern at some point in the 1800s.
Well, see, I wonder how they drew that conclusion. Did she give them all that?
It probably sounded like... and that's where they got all that entire thing from.
Because, I've never heard of a ghost, giving you that much info.
And I also had blood type. And I like peach cobbler.
Everybody likes peaches in Georgia.
I hate peaches.
I love peaches.
No, you don't.
I've
never seen you order a peach anything.
No, I don't like peach desserts. I like an actual peach.
I've never seen you eat a peach.
Well, you don't pay attention because I have.
I've never seen you eat a tomato.
I have not eaten a tomato.
In 2014, a fire broke out in a planter box outside the window of Tondee's Tavern. Cameras inside the building watched the fire grow over several hours. How did no one look at this?
You saw in the video there's cars driving by and they don't do anything.
There's a fire.
Yeah, no one did anything.
And it's right on the big main street of Savannah, right there beside the river is actually just off to the right.
Yeah.
You're heading towards the bridge, and it's not easy to miss this place. It's not tucked back anywhere. It's right there on the road.
Main street.
2 employees were downstairs sleeping when one of them said she was awoken by an unknown source, and she and her coworker were able to get out of the building. The camera seemed to capture a number of orb-like objects flying by the camera as the fire burned. Were these spirits in distress or simply dust particles?
So what do you think it was?
I think it was bugs. I don't know that it was bugs, but it definitely is not the kind of video I look at, like the way I saw the kid drop out of the tree and say, there's definitely something more to that. I'm like, anytime I see an orb video, it just seems like that would be one of the easiest things to explain.
Well, there were so many of them in such a short time. And she did say...
What time of year was this? You know how many bugs we have in Savannah and sand gnats and whatever? I mean, it could have been any number of things. Maybe it was spirits. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Do you think that something woke her up, though? Or do you think that she just randomly woke up? She said something woke her up.
Possibly. I'm not discounting the potential that these were spirits. I'm just saying that out of all the paranormal proof that people post, the easiest one to explain away are orbs, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Well, whatever's going on at Tondee's, the spirits don't seem to be malevolent. So if you're in Savannah, stop into Tondee's and have a meal, or maybe just a drink, depending on when you visit.
If they are at volume.
Yeah, we went there last night, and it was only about 6:30, and they weren't serving food, which is why we decided to go to Sixpence.
Yes.
Yeah, so what did the sign say on the door?
The hours. It's one of those boards with the hours, and it says open from, to, and you write in the times with chalk. It changes, and some days it would say from this time till 10 p.m., and then on given days it says from this time to volume. So I'm assuming volume is a nondescript measure unit of time that can happen at any given time.
Yeah, so don't go during volume time, or you won't get any food.
Avoid volume.
But I'm glad we did go to Sixpence. It was good.
It's delicious.
We have eaten at Tondee's in the past, though, and it was also good. So make sure you check out both these locations if you get the chance.
So that leads us up to the point where I want to hear you say those last few words before we get followed by shadow people into the night.
Join us next time in Savannah, where the ghosts and the good times live on.
But do you know who don't?
Who?
I'm going to wager that it has something to do with a long room a fire, and somebody sleeping in sleeping bags in a basement.
And bayonets.
And bayonets.
And some cannon fire.
I tell you what, you grab yourself a jacket, and I'm going to grab myself the biggest can of fish paste I can find, and let's head down to the tavern and have ourselves a Scottish egg.
All right.
Let's do it.